basically we just did like a bunch. So I'll start from the bottom. So we were here, right? And we were in half guard. So a lot of times, like let me turn this way. A lot of times, I'm sort of always looking for it from half guard. Just if I can't put my hands together, it'll at least cause a reaction from my partner on top. Yeah. But sometimes I'm looking for it, and I'll get it here. The thing that I notice sometimes will happen if my partner doesn't bury his hand between his legs to defend. Sometimes if he snatch it super quick and they don't have time because I'm making an effort to take it away from his leg, right? The other defense would be he knows I want to put it behind his back, so he's going to do the opposite, which is probably straighten it out, right? So then there comes like that opportunity to try and hit that arm bar, like just that straight, quick one right here like that. So that comes into play too, right? From the bottom anyway. So if I get it and Mitch doesn't have time to put it between his legs to defend, most of the time they're going to straighten it because they know the object of what I want to do is put this behind his back to try and put a lot of pressure on the shoulder. So that might be one scenario where he can't get it, so he straightens it real quick. So rather than like quit and try and make space again to get my knee shield in between us, rather than quit it, I'll just stay with it and try and get that quick elbow pressure for a tap here, if that can happen, right? So that's one of the things that I like to try and hit with the Kimura from half guard. The other one that works kind of good is if I can I got the grip, but maybe my partner, he did bury it maybe between his legs to defend, or whatever the case might be, right? So sometimes I can take advantage of that, like move my hips out away, and then I try and bring it to me, so I know he's gonna come, his body will come with his arm closer to me if I yank it this way, because his hand is almost connected to his thigh like it is now, right? So if I pull it towards me, he's gonna tend to come with me, because if Mitch stays right here and I can just separate his arm, then I have it, anyway, right? So sometimes they'll like come with, the body will come with me when I pull, and if I keep moving my hip out and I bring his elbow to my chest, right, and he comes with me, sometimes I can get a nice reversal. I can flip it over this way, you know what I'm saying? Because if he lets me separate it from here, then I got it. But sometimes he'll stay defending in here, but then I can flip him over and get top position from here. So that sometimes will happen, and that's like sort of a good option for me. I like that one a lot. I'll stick with the grip, even though my partner's defending under here, right? So if I pull, he's coming, then I can sometimes hit this reversal and get on top of him from that Kimura grip. Okay. The other way that it might work out for me, so this is just options now. If you guys have other ideas, share. Okay. So the other option sometimes that works is we're in a crazy scramble. I was able to get this right. Now, maybe he isn't totally putting his weight on me for whatever reason. So with this grip, I'm going to go sort of like that hip bump sweep from full guard, right? So I'm going to stay here, but I'm going to use this hand, just come over the shoulder like this. So if you get a space, and then I'll bump him this way. But if I have that overhook over his arm like this, sometimes this thing is still in front of me and I'll catch it again from here if I let it go while we rolled through. So I still have this Kimura grip here, right? Same thing, he's probably going to try and grab his pants or something to stop me from lifting and manipulating his arm. But if he doesn't, right, sometimes guys will do the same thing from the bottom, which is they know I want it bent in this like this, so they'll straighten it out. And then I'll stay with it again, and then I can get that submission from there too. Yeah. So just like a couple of different little cool things with that 2-on-1 grip. And this is just from half guard, right? So here, I can kind of get it from here. If I can get it, cool, I got it, right? The other thing that's going to happen too is, if I start to put tons of pressure on Mitch's shoulder over here, he's going to roll on his own to take off the pressure. He's going to go because he doesn't want to get submitted. So he's gonna roll over and then deal with me from here. You know, he didn't go from like a terribly bad situation to a worse one. All he did was go from top to bottom, but he never had to tap, right? So he gave up position so that he could save his shoulder, right? So that could be one. Boom, I get him to tap. If he doesn't like the pressure, he rolls over on his own. Okay. The other thing is he's going to try and bury it between his legs and try and tuck his arm away so I can't yank it out. So what I'll do is I'll kind of like shrimp out a little bit and bring it close to my chest, and he's going to probably come with his arm, and then I can roll him over again. Sometimes that will work too if I get the right angle. I can take him over, like a nice momentum will take us over the top. Another way I can get to the top from that 2-on-1. And then from here, I got it. He doesn't have time, so he tries to straighten it out. I stay with it, and then I can try and hit this quick one right here too. Okay? So, a little adjustment that you need to make. You guys try this out and tell me what you think. But a little adjustment that you need to make is when I go from here and my partner tries to straighten it out, as he goes to straighten it out, my thumb, from going with the C grip, I gotta go to that false grip. I gotta go from this to this. It'll roll easier, and now I can hold on to it a little bit better. So now I'm trying to make sure that my forearm, the bone on my forearm, kind of meets his elbow joint for maximum pressure, right? So we go from here. If he rolls it, then I'm trying to hit that elbow joint. Put the pressure downwards as I try and move my hand upwards, right? To get that little bit of pressure up there.
Is it right on the elbow or like?
I try to make sure the bone is right on top of his elbow joint, right on the joint.
Right above it.
I try to go right on it.
Oh.
I try to go right on the top. I try to make like this part of my forearm, this hard bone, the blade on the inside, right on top of the point of his elbow. Okay? Try it out, you guys. Play around with this. And then, try to work with that grip too. From like a regular C grip to moving it to whatever they call it, false grip. Yeah? From that to that. Cool?
And the grip change, what is it like?
So it's, when you do it to your partner, you'll feel why you need to move it. It's awkward trying to hold on like this as your partner. His wrist is naturally going to rotate. And when it does, you'll feel like if I hold on to the C grip, it's weird. So I got to let my thumb go and replace it with this.
Like this?
Yeah.
Instead of this?
Yeah. But when you do it to each other, you'll feel it. You'll feel why it feels better to move that thumb. Okay? Go for it.
I remember hearing like someone talk about not to do this in general. Is that
So most of the time, well, there's situations where you shouldn't. And it's just like, the more you repeat those positions, the more you'll see like why it's better to control in certain ways. You good? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys want to go together?
yeah, sure.
Sweet. Which side you want?
Just to hit it.
Okay, let's go for that first one. Yes.
So it's a bite on the shoulder and to keep you down.
Yeah.
And then it's a rotation up. Right? So is it different if it's this way?
Yeah, so it
Or
doesn't.
if it's in?
It feels like you need to keep it in this angle. This feels a little bit like I can
It's kind of
resist.
like what we were talking about yesterday, how we came in
No?
and we went like that for that pinch, and then you can go. Okay, interesting. And then you can stretch it out.
Which one you want to do first?
So, 1 second. Move your left. Yeah, there you go, man.
Up into
Just have to go just a little bit higher.
so it's not so because from here it's
So
it's
let your arm slide up a little, right there.
Oh, is that Ryan?
I didn't catch the whole
It's
thing,
still
but I'll watch this
a
time.
pinch with that.
Yeah.
So it's still a tight.
So do you feel how come
Whatever it is,
why
it's like
it feels better to roll your thumb over?
Yeah. Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
that it's hard right there.
Yeah.
And then you can roll over.
Yeah.
And then you
And
can.
what just
Interesting.
That is a good method. It's just what you did. That's one version, yeah. Yeah, because he buries his arm.
Through.
drive forward, you
Hand
can
leg.
flip them all the way over.
Move your
and
hips
that's
away
when
from-
yeah.
You're gonna kind of come up on
I'm gonna
top.
try and chase.
Yeah. What you need is like,
Can I move your hips
flip
out
all
a
the
little
way
bit
over,
over? Like
and
the
then you can
opposite
get his head
direction.
position,
Yes.
and then you
Now
can
you got
kind of
this
sit
slide.
there on it, like you can sit on his head then, and either fight with Kimura or swing it over from Mark. Do you know that position?
Yeah.
You're gonna
Put
slide
your
your
hip away a little bit and then pull your chin
and
back.
pull
To go that
and
way,
you're gonna go
that
back
one's
flat
not
because
as
you're
much of
gonna
it.
turn your body.
You
this
should
way.
always
That
if you
makes sense.
can, but a lot of
From
it's
here.
going to be kind of
Bite real
because he's
hard.
right on top of
I'm gonna
you.
try and chase you.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
That
You'll
was
feel it.
perfect.
And I'll watch
That was
too.
awesome. And it's not much strength because I'm
Yeah.
I'm
See,
clubbing.
boom.
but you
Okay,
get
now
yourself out of the
come
way.
all the way up and bring your left leg around. Fork kicks I could go.
And then there was
the one where you
To
just
like
where I just that was
left leg
Yeah,
up
it's
to
not running
the
through
these
these
guys. You came up. Yeah.
So
Well,
now you can let go of this
What you did is just
and
fine.
just keep this inside my shoulder because you're gonna
Great.
sit up
A lot
on
of
top.
times, what's going to happen is
So
you
like
can
go
work
this
the
way.
scramble, and the guy's going to
So
kind
you
of
fall
fly and
this way.
lifting
Yes.
his head, right?
And now you can still kind of
slowly
trap
go
it
back
again.
to it.
Yeah.
Right?
And if I try and beat the
Try
smart
to
guy,
get
no, you're
more,
not gonna
and
get
then
it. Now you got that
probably
one
turn to
again.
that side
So you gotta.
position,
If we
and then
do
he'll
this,
lead, like,
you
go
gotta
on this
go.
side, right?
you get down.
And then one second.
So
Move your left arm a little bit closer to my elbow joint. Right there. That's
You
it.
ever use the knee shield into not mattering?
Yep.
Whatever.
When you did that little adjustment, you were right on it.
It's, I think it's harder to go when you
Yeah.
versus a butterfly.
That's it.
So from here you scoot out
That's a
and
big
trip
difference
out
between-
first before you roll.
Yeah.
I like the way
chill
you
it out. Chill it out.
did
I just
it
wanna
by
show you
like
one little detail
bringing your
that I-
body to his elbow real quick. Yeah, you see how you created that space over there?
So then right here,
Now you should
and
be
then
able
you
to
strengthen it.
rotate your
I
hips
take
and
that as
push
a I take it as a cue
Yeah.
to follow your hand.
Something's not working.
Okay.
Well, start over.
Yep. As I'm coming, you just slide out with it. Okay, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're looking for it as that hand comes through.
I'm gonna follow it a little bit so that my
Trying to figure out
setup
how
can
you
go
move
with it.
So your arm slides at the same time as your arm.
And it's almost like I'm putting even more weight on your chest if I can get further
And
across.
getting that shoulder down more.
So you stay flat. And I can sort of use that isolation bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, so through here, and then inflate it, and I go, yeah! There you go, on this shoulder. So maybe a good idea would be, let me make it straight. Just follow me. As I straighten it, that's the spot you
Straighten
want.
your arm out.
Yep.
Good. Let it
Yes.
slide.
That's it.
Like the motor, like
Just
let it turn.
hang on, but follow.
Okay,
So you don't need to put the pressure the whole way through.
now you're
Only
going
when it
to-
gets in here, boom, the pressure
here,
is.
and then yeah, and then you feel how is that here?
Or roll you over.
Yeah, your
Fighting
hand
in
is
the
sliding
straight
around the grip.
Oh yeah, that's it right there.
And
That's the
then
spot.
you'll be able to- that is the spot.
Did you feel it?
Yeah. It just kind of like settled.
And it's only a matter of like maybe 3 or 4 inches.
Yeah.
From down what you want to let the other person
here,
where
but
you
you
want
have to get to that
whole lot
spot.
more. Yeah, because if not, if you try and take it a little bit too soon, and we only end up
So
here,
you kind of like expecting to straighten it out.
Yeah. And even if you try to
you
lift
got
my
it,
shoulder
that's what
up,
you
my
did.
elbow off the
Then he's
floor,
doing it for you.
the opposite,
And if he
it's still
doesn't,
I can
he's trying
still
to
resist,
block,
right? Because it's not quite
Try to
here,
yank it out
and it's
or
not
push it.
quite straight enough for you to catch your
Yeah.
So it's a
So
good
you
idea. You
battle
let
there
your
for a
partner
while.
turn it, and you just stay
You
with
might battle
that
there for a
and
while.
catch them when it's
Stay
super
with it.
straight like that.
We don't want to do straight.
So this one, because you gotta force it down, right? So you have to,
So you have to pass
I
it.
have to somehow to
Yeah.
maybe up and then come in.
And
That's-
in
that's
the
what-
meantime, my mind is like, protect the arm, protect the arm.
Yeah, you're gonna be trying to turn it into the arm, wouldn't you?
I'm gonna check her back flat because I don't want you to pull me off the floor and
I
have
think
an
like
opportunity to put my
when you
fist
start the
in there.
Kimura,
So
it's
if I'm
right-
focusing on
right
protecting
here.
my arm,
but I
you
think
can sort of
by the time
use that as your
by the time
opportunity
you're
as
doing
a
arm
bait
bar,
to get this leg out.
it's like turning your watch around.
Now you can go.
It needs to be on
And
the
then you can do all
opposite
that
side.
stuff we did yesterday. You can go for that lace.
So
Yeah.
that when you're
Or-
rolling,
Or
like
yank
if
me
you're
off the
looking
floor and go for it from
the
the
arm
yeah,
straight,
you gotta step over,
right?
chop the head, yep.
You're
Yep.
looking, your hand is gonna move around to the other side, and then your elbow should be
Tons
right
of
on your
options,
elbow,
which I-
not your knee.
To get to that
And
Yeah.
like,
position.
It's almost
such good
it's almost 180 degrees.
Fucking hard to get out there.
That would be 90, but it's almost 180 degrees.
You
And you
would
can just be
capture
patient, right?
just this grip
Super
to the
patient.
beginning.
No, I would
Chop
separate
it all
all
the
the
way
way
to
to
your
the
partner.
beginning.
So he's like,
And then as it's rolling around your hand, I would probably protect the thumb. So, yeah, you feeling it now?
like come this
So
way.
now you gotta move that
Thumb.
thumb, yeah.
Yeah, so your grip changes 180 degrees on the
Just
wrist.
stand in the right spot, or do I want it to more down?
No, that's perfect. Because when Isaiah starts to turn his hand straight, your hand's gonna be in the right spot right there. And then try and find
More
with your
180.
bone on your blade his elbow joint.
So do I want it to be more like turning like that?
No, you want to try and use the blade, that hard part I'm touching, on the joint.
So turn it like this.
Yeah. And it'll naturally kind of fall into place when he starts to roll his arm straight.
So you try to pinch that flat part of his arm, yes?
I feel like it's a
So
little
you,
bit
so you can
low.
control the.
Try let me do it to you, Justin.
Here's your elbow. What the heck?
Try let me do it to you so you can.
It's hard to feel the elbow when it's
Yeah,
straight.
I can't have a hard time feeling where it's elbow is.
So I go here, right, and then you start to defend it. So maybe I forgot to say this part, but I let my partner straighten it out, and I kind of bring it close to my face so it rotates into the spot I need it. Now it's right there. So I'm not trying to catch it down here when it's straight. I'm gonna bring it. Now I know that it's super straight right here. Yeah. You feel that?
It's like a 90-degree turn.
Yeah. Here, almost right over my face right here, and then it's like very little power. I'm just kind of like flexing my hands like this, and it makes it super straight.
Is it pretty easy to break someone's arm like that?
I've never broken anybody's arm, so I couldn't tell you.
The answer. I've been like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's
You're
really
like 6 or 7 now.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
That's why you should never do that to me.
I'm just wondering if it's one of those ones where it's just like enough pain to like tap, but not to like actually break
But
it.
I feel like that one, when you get it straight, you can zap them pretty quick when they're like you know, you can give them a good zap.
But you wouldn't want to do that in training, like zap them, yeah.
No, yeah.
Slowly,
Because-
like
Because I think like with that 2-on-1, and when you have it set up like that, you have so much leverage. Like I'm saying, it doesn't take very much for me to let Mitch feel like how much I've straightened it already. And if I wanted to be like a bad guy, I would cut my wrist. So I'm like cupping it so that it extends it even more and pushing his wrist. So I mean, like if you know, like a real quick one, even that little movement you could feel it. Yeah.
Really tight, really fast.
that's
So we were talking. What got us onto this track was Mitch had a question about adding attacks from the close guard, right? So I think we've gone over this a few times. Like if I get this, right, and then the common defense is to straighten his arm because, again, same as half guard. He knows my objective is to put this behind his back, so he'll straighten. So I can hit it here, right? And then, oh, damn, he's so strong, I can't get it, or whatever, the angle's wrong. Look how his arm is turning. I just stay with it, pass it across, and I can try and go to the back. So, another good option. But I didn't quit. I never quit it the whole time. I stayed with it. And I tried it here. I might have got it, but he turned it. Pass it to this one, straighten my arm so it's hard for him to come back, and then start to work my way to the back.
But if they're stronger than you, is it gonna be hard to control with one arm? No?
If he's stronger than me, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be a little bit more careful about when we get to here and he starts to turn his wrist. I might be a little bit more careful in when I pass it to this hand. Because
I'm going to be trying to pull that
Yeah.
forward.
I sort of feel like once I can get my partner's arm past my center line, it's a little bit easier for me to try and manipulate it back this way. Because he's really not putting much pressure on my chest, so I can kind of get out of his way too at the same time.
So you just start shrimping until you can.
Yeah, and I'm going to try my best, if I can get it across here, I'm going to try my best to connect to him super quick so he doesn't have a chance to hug me again with this one. And once he does this to me, then the position is killed. Yeah, so you can try those right there, straight from close guard. Kimura, straighten, pass it all the way across, and then you can go to the back. So those positions kind of like they're nice from half guard. Maybe you won't catch it, but it's a good threat to open up other things, maybe sweeps and whatnot. And then from close guard, it's just a nice attack, right? 2-on-1 still.
So you should extend that body too.
Yeah.
Close guard, you can, as you come up, you put some
right?
Some distance between
And then pass it across, yeah. So and it's like it's sort of like a good one because the whole time you have it, you're almost like watching it in front of you, right? So you, if you're focusing on it, you can like control it. You're like, this is what I need to do. All right, cool, passed it. Hug the back right away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Try it out. Oh. Yeah, yeah. Oh, here, try this one too, you guys. Try this one too. Try this one too. So, conventional Kimura, Mitch is gonna grab my wrist and he has to sit up to attack. To attach his second arm is what I meant to say. But sometimes it's a little bit quicker with this little tidbit he's gonna do right here, right? My hand's on the floor, and he's just gonna use his knee to bring my elbow to him, and he doesn't have to sit up.
Oh.
Yeah, he like bumps me forward. Now he can just reach it right here. So he didn't have to go whole range of motion to sit up to get it. So just another good option.
It looks like a good omoplata stuff
To
too.
do that too, yeah, because now he forces me here, right?
Sure.
And he can move his hips all the way up. Haha, for your game.
I can't get
Light
that.
bulb moment, dude.
It's hard in no-gi. I can't get it. The omoplata.
Too slippery.
It's just
Yeah,
like
but when you do get it no-gi, you'll be getting it all day long.
Right.
In the
In the
gi,
gi,
Once it
yeah.
clicks.
Yeah, you'll figure out
you'll
how
know
to,
exactly the right
you'll figure out how to make it sticky and no-gi and it'll be even worse with the gi. So yeah.
Just looking forward to that.
Can't wait, thanks.
If you want to catch me, you want to lay back down.
So if I can block,
Yeah, so you,
if I can block
Straight in your
more
arm.
entrance to your
Bring
leg
it
to
to here.
this.
yeah. And it's almost like doing its job when you bring it close to you already, yeah.
And that's the kind of like he's resting back. It's a big, pretty hip bone kind of thing.
Way down.
And now when you bring that knee up close, now it's harder for you to nice and
Find
you snap down straight in it.
Get better. That's it. That's the work done today. It was really good. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna bring this back around.
It's far.
trying to
I was thinking once you get to right
not really-
now,
how did I get this straight?
right here, right,
Here.
straighten it, out through, right there, then you have the possible to start pulling back in.
Away.
Yeah.
You kind of have
black
one
That's
elbow.
I
had the whole set.
That's terrible. That's terrifying.
That's terrible. Yeah, that's this is that too. That's Americana.
Oh, yeah. I can just see that really throw it off right there.
It didn't seem to go with it. I even got one that was black with the last one, but it just is so like a flat, big flat. So great.
Yeah, you got it.
I like pretty good. I think everybody would.
you missed the step. So you pass it to your other hand and then
And just go for the first one behind you.
you pass it to this.
Would that work?
This should have enough space sometimes to try. Sometimes it probably is, yeah, right in here.
Come in.
You know what I'm saying? You passed it far enough across. Yeah. Sometimes there might be the space, yeah.
Depends on what dude's doing with that arm.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if I'm
If you're
wise
trying
enough to
smash.
just block it.
Yeah.
Pass to that one. And then like here, so we'll try it again.
Like this.
And then try to straighten.
Straighten. There. And then, yeah, pass it all the way. So we're, yeah. In terms of detail, to transfer that, figure
And
that
then
from
like grab to this
this.
Oh,
So I don't know if it's
like
like this.
this.
I think like this.
Do it on this side so you can see. So when we go here, right, if I get the regular grip and then I start to it straightens it to defend, right around this point, this hand, you go from like
Yeah,
a
right.
C grip to
You go with something else.
a false grip. It
Just
just
wondering
works.
what
It just
grip I
feels
do when
more
I-
secure.
Here,
Then you can pinch that.
straight in.
It's locked in.
Control it from rotating.
Yeah, it's locked in. It's gonna be hard for
When I
me to
pass
get
it
away
to
from you.
This one, do I grab this or like this? Like this?
Tito, how you bro?
Good, how you doing?
Good,
And then keep that right arm extended as long as you can. And that's obviously you got to
Oh, like
build
extended across.
just so that he has a harder time coming back over your shoulder, like stopping you. Climbing up on him.
It's a good. You could, if you have time and you got a good lat grip, like, and you stretch his arm out, you could probably like go to the tricep.
Right. And force it
And
away.
force him. He'd probably fall right in your lap and you'd be on your back.
It's almost like where we ended up in the
I think that's why I got that across. Yeah, because I noticed, like, in order for you to get up on his back, you had to kind of bend the elbow and that way kind of recover. You didn't have that forward tension in the arm. So maybe making that switch from here to here.
Just
I'll
walking
me
in.
through that really
Yeah.
quick.
See, that was the tip right there.
Wait, should I, when I come up with the C and then I readjust to this one?
Absolutely.
Like halfway or?
Right there, that's perfect. So now pass it in front of your face, yeah. Boom.
Like this.
Yep. Or even grab the sleeve if you can, Justin. And then now you got a good grip to keep it away from you. So right here is where Ryan's talking about. Rather than having to retract your right arm, you can push it or grab onto the tricep so he stays in that position.
The grip on the gi put his arm on the inside position, so you would have to retract it in this case.
I'm gonna go like that and then you're saying like this.
See?
Push.
Try do it again, but grab the wrist instead of the gi. Then your hand will be in the right spot.
Alright, like adjust midway with that other grip. It seems
Try grab the false grip from the beginning. Try grab it with it already.
Just turn around so you have more space.
Let's see how that goes. Then you don't need to adjust. Now you just need to move this onto the joint. So like, it's almost like you're passing it a little bit too low. Like force him to come in front of your face.
Some more.
I feel like this one needs to be
Go.
lower. Should I like
Transition. Or
reach lower when I go for
across
this
this
one?
way.
This hand or this one?
This
This one should be right on his wrist. As low as you can go to his hand.
Oh, okay.
So from here. And now let this arm come up to his.
So the arm bar.
There, you should have it right. That looks pretty much spot on right there.
I think that's a pretty good
And then if he passes through, stay with it. Don't lose your grip. Just keep going across your face.
And you're saying grab the tricep?
No,
Not
not
this
originally.
one.
Not originally. Reach through and do what you were doing. Pass it off,
Right.
and then push it all the way out. Hold it for a second. Grab the back lap right here. Put it down. Take your hand right from there to like here. Boom. See, you still have control, and you can't retract his arm. And then you're on board. But it's hard to get up and build your base, or it's hard for me to build my base back up when my arm is holding something way out there. I can't do it.
But you gotta do this. To
I
get-
have to build a base. I need to get my elbow, and the only way I can think of doing that is to go to the tricep. Because now look,
Yeah, I got
now you can get up.
And sometimes it's hard, even if you can do that, it's hard to climb on your partner's back. So sometimes you need just